Autumn Gertz, and today I will be talking about moving from flu near you to outbreaks near me. Next slide. For those of you that don't know, Outbreaks Near Me is a crowdsourced participatory surveillance system for respiratory illness. So right now that's primarily flu and COVID-19. And this is the next generation of flu near you, which some of you may be more familiar with. So how does it work? Weekly reminders are sent via text or email to our user population. They report primarily if they're feeling healthy or sick, and then a variety of different information. And then we take these reports and visualize them. Here we highlight the US on our map. We do have reporting for Canada as well as Mexico. So what does our healthy survey look like? This is the majority of our reports. I think it's about 87% of weekly reports are healthy. This helps us have a denominator so we can look at rates. This also helps keep users engaged since most of the time they're feeling well. They report their vaccination status, demographics, and testing. And then our unhealthy reporting is sort of the meat of the syndromic surveillance, what symptoms they're experiencing, healthcare seeking behaviors, diagnoses, medication, anything like that. And this is the data that supports surveillance efforts and complements other things. So how did we get to Outbreaks Near Me? Flu Near You was launched about a decade ago. And then we launched COVID Near You, leveraging that technology in March of 2020. Combined these two into Outbreaks Near Me in December of 2020 to have one site sort of collecting all of this data on new technology. So integrating the technology, as I mentioned, Flu Near You tech was leveraged to make COVID Near You, which was then sort of modified and updated to make Outbreaks Near Me. And having sort of new technology that could be more quickly adapted was very important to us, especially as we sort of saw what was happening with COVID. We also integrated these populations. So the Outbreaks Near Me population has guest reporters and registered users. Our registered users include Flu Near You users, COVID Near You users, and new Outbreaks Near Me users. And then guest reporters are those who have decided not to make accounts for support. The data has also been integrated. So when you see Outbreaks Near Me data, that includes all of our historical Flu Near You data, COVID Near You data, our text message reporting for Outbreaks Near Me, our website reporting, and then we also have a version of our survey on Momentive, which formerly SurveyMonkey, that helps feed in weekly data as well. So not as linear as it presented. We sort of used Flu Near You technology to make COVID Near You and COVID emerged, and then we sort of refaced that and updated it to make Outbreaks Near Me. So a very simplified version of what happened behind the scenes on the technology there. And one example of why sort of making a new site on update technology is important, we are able to launch a new survey on the site in early 2022 to collect data on rapid test at-home testing, since that wasn't captured in our survey, or there were sort of additional people who that could report to. So what does this population look like? You can see here we have a good amount of carryover from Flu Near You, which is great. However, sort of some of the discussions this morning, our population is more female, older, educated, white, non-Hispanic, and health conscious, which doesn't really look like the rest of the US. So we are doing some targeted recruitment efforts. If we have data that better reflects, or we have participants that better reflect what the US looks like, our data is going to better reflect what's happening with respiratory illnesses in the US. And how are we doing this? So we assessed our population, we identified target audiences, developed and tested messaging, ran initial Google ads with this new messaging, optimized those ads, running those ads for a long period of time, and then reassessing our population. Check marks are things we've already done. The open boxes we're working on now. So this is our branding survey. We surveyed willingness to contribute to a site like Outbreaks Near Me, and I want to show here that this smaller survey population was representative of the US population, pulling out race, ethnicity, and age, compared to the Outbreaks Near Me population, which is not currently representative. And we found 4 sort of motivating messages, target audiences. We have contribution, empowered, test and share, and real data, real time. These little icons, you can see there's sort of different groups that these messages really appeal to. Age, demographics, race, other things. So what we found, we ran 2 rounds of Google ads, is that test and share performed very well. So we actually turned that off for the second round of ads, and then real data, real time emerged as the next highest performing, with empowered and contribution having relatively low performance throughout the duration. But you can see here, we also looked at who was clicking the ads and found that empowered had a smaller proportion that were 45 plus. We do have older users in this population. So even if it was lower performance overall, it was performing with one of our target audiences very well. So our next steps to run these test and share, real data, real time, and empowered ads through the US 2022-2023 flu season. And then we will reassess our population through our end of year survey, our sort of weekly reporting, and our registered users. And just want to highlight here, looking at sort of how Outbreaks Near Me, it's only been around in its name for a little bit, but it's really contributed to research, news, public policy, decision-making, situational awareness. So highlighting here sort of some of the things discussed this morning and how this data has been used. Thank you.